Hi, my name is Fatima, and I want to say hi to Andre, Morgan, White, Maddie, and Emma. Your teacher sent me a few of your questions, and I'd like to answer those. I did live in Egypt for 4 years, and we have since moved back, but I get to share with you a little bit of my life there and answer your questions. So here we go. The first one is, we know that the modern language of Egypt is Arabic. Did you know Arabic when you arrived, or did you learn it while you were there? I knew a little bit of Arabic when I was here from my husband. He's Egyptian. I knew words like la'a means no, aywa or nam mean yes, wahed, itneen, talata is 1, 2, 3, bes means stop. I knew a few words. I learned a lot when I was living there. I learned like mukbak means kitchen, and hammam means bathroom, sarir means bed. I learned how to ask for things. Potatoes is patata, tomatoes or tomatum. And they don't do things like pounds like we do over here. If you want to get maybe a pound of your favorite vegetable or a pound of this, instead they go by kilos. So if I went to the market to buy a pound or a kilo of bananas, I'd ask for wahed, kilo, moz. Moz meaning banana. Did you ever see hieroglyphics there? Well, yes, I was actually lucky enough to get to travel to the pyramids, to see the Sphinx, and also the Cairo Museum. There are tons and tons of hieroglyphics everywhere, especially around Cairo, mainly because it's mainly for the tourists. It says, are they still used at all? The only time they're really used now is to sell things to tourists who come and want a little piece of, ancient Egypt. They'll get, little statues with some hieroglyphics written on them, and I'm not sure anybody really knows what they actually say. What was your daily life like when you were in Egypt? Daily life was much like it is here. We woke up in the morning, had breakfast, which is usually consistent of maybe some eggs and a bean dip called fool. In the early mornings, I might send one of my sons downstairs to buy some really fresh pita bread, which was really nice. It was fresh and hot, and it smelled really good. What was the inside of your house like? Well, your teacher is actually going to show you another video that I had done that shows you the entire house. It's actually called a flat, which is what we call apartments over there. And it was very nice, and I think that you'll like that video. Same as here, you walk in, maybe there's a dining room, a living room, a kitchen, bathrooms, bedrooms. The only big difference between here and there is that almost every single flat there has either one or two or more than one balcony. The balconies are very nice. When it gets too hot out, you can sit out on your balcony. If there's something going on out in the street, you can go out and view it in privacy of your own balcony. It was very nice. Did you have the same rooms like we have? Yes, we did. What was school like for the kids? School, we had both private schools there and regular city schools like we do here. However, the schooling there is a little bit different. Most children went from Saturday through Thursday, only getting Friday off. The kids, there's no buses. The kids took taxis. They either all got into one bigger taxi, which is a little bit bigger than a minivan here, or they got into regular little car taxis. In our city, they were green and white, they were green and yellow. And that's how most people got to school. Now, I gotta tell you, over here, when it snows too hard, you get to have a nice snow day off of school. There in Egypt, especially where we were living, if it rained, you got off of school just for rain, because a lot of the roads are still pretty dirty and made out of a lot of dirt. So any amount of rain, especially in this kind of dirt where it's really silty or sandy, the rain really made it too muddy and the cars couldn't go anywhere. So if it rains, you have a rain day off of school. Let me see. Oh, and also the kids with school, almost all the children also had tutors that came to the house, or the children went to the tutor's house. So you would go to school, the kids left for school around 7:15 in the morning. They came back around 3. You always had to pack your own lunch because there's no cafeterias there. And then they would come home, they would eat their dinner, they would pray or do whatever they needed to do, and then the tutor would come over for about 2 hours at night. So it was a lot of schoolwork. Were your meals similar to American meals? Mine, yeah, they were. Every meal, you pretty much have your rice, your meat, and your vegetable. The vegetable dishes there, and the ones like I make, maybe we'll saute some onions, and then we'll put some tomatoes in there. And we don't use tomato sauce over there like we do in here in the cans. We would blend our own fresh tomatoes and then put it in with the onions, and then put our vegetables in, like potatoes or whatever, and maybe we'd throw it in the oven for a little bit to cook. We used a lot of cumin, salt and pepper, and that was pretty much it. Meals there are very family oriented as well, and they're usually pretty big. The more people that eat at your table, the better. Let's see. What did you do on your free time? Oh, of course, I went shopping. I like to go shopping, and shopping there is a lot different than it is here. You go to, if you need something like your light bulbs or something to help fix your house, you would go to one store. If you needed food, like canned food or chipsy, what they call little bags of chips, or some candy, you would go to another store. If you needed diapers or wipes or shampoos, you could go to a different store. And a lot of these stores, you actually don't go inside of them. You actually walk up to the store, and they have everything behind the counter, and you just tell them what you want. They go, they get it, they bring it to the counter, and then you pay for it. Pharmacies were very small. You go in and you tell them what medicine that you need, or what medicine the doctor told you that you need, and then they fill it and give it to you right there. There were, I think one of your questions was, are there Walmarts, Kroger's, or Scott's in Egypt like there are in America? Actually, no, we don't have those. We do have bigger malls that have some of the bigger brand names. Let me think, what was one? Like we had Coach and, nice bigger brand names. What we did have there in Cairo and in much bigger cities was a store from the UK called Carrefour or Carrefour. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was like the biggest super Walmart combined with everything else you could imagine. And they were always so packed full of people because there really weren't many of those. And when we went there, we would pick up our McDonald's or KFC, things like that, because they really didn't have any of those where we lived. They had them in bigger cities. Was there a lot of art there? I have to tell you, really, there wasn't too much art there. I don't think Egyptians, not as a whole, but I don't think there's not as much of an appreciation for art as there really is here. We have sports in America. Do they have sports in Egypt? Oh, do they ever? Now, Egyptians are very big on football, not American football. This is soccer. That's what everybody else in the world knows as football. Their team is Al Ahly, which is an amazing team. They're really, really, really good. And Egyptians, they come out of their houses, and if Al Ahly is playing in Cairo, everybody knows it, because when the windows are open, you can hear, if you're walking through the streets, you can hear if they made a goal, because everybody in all the flats and all the tea shops around where the men are sitting and drinking their tea, they're all cheering and super loud. So you don't even have to watch the match to know who won, because afterwards, if they win, you'll see men and boys and people in cars with the Al Ahly flag and their jerseys going around. Sort of crazy, but that's what kind of team that they have. Let's see. Do Egyptians have television? Yes, we do. We had a lot of American TV over there as well. We got to watch Nickelodeon in Arabic, which was fun, and Disney Channel and ABC. A lot of things. It was both in English and in Arabic. It was nice. Let me see. Oh, in America we have paper and metallic money. What kind of money do they have in Egypt? Well, I actually have a pound here. This is an Egyptian pound. This is like our $1. It has the English and that on the front, and then on the back it has the Arabic. And you'll see too, I don't know if you can see it, they have a hieroglyphics on those. See that? And then this is like 50 cents. Now they also have the 50 cents and the 1 pound they also have those in coins as well. They do not have like 1 cent. They go down to the equivalent to 5 cents. They also have, we have $100 bills and then it goes up. Well, there we have $100 bills, $200 bills, and the $200 bills are bigger, or pounds, sorry, the 200-pound bills are longer. So if you were going, you see how the 50 piastres is what this is called. It's just a little bit shorter than the 1 pound. And that's how they keep going. And then there's 5, and then there's 10, and then 20, and then 50. They're all just a little bit longer than the next one. Let's see here. What was the government like? The government, it was a democracy, much like America. However, I don't know if you've heard, but their president was actually ousted. They took care of it, and now they're going and redoing their government, sort of like America has done over the years. We've developed and developed and developed, and we have our government the way we need it and the way we want it. Let's see. Transportation in America includes cars, trucks, SUVs, cars, and motorcycles. What kind of transportation do they have in Egypt? Probably 80 to 85% of the population travels in taxis. Now those can be personal taxis, which are just a car. They can also mean going and just sort of thumbing a ride and getting a ride on a minibus, which, like I said before, is much like a minivan, only with 3 rows of seats. And they're always super crowded. And sometimes you'll see where the doors are even open and people are standing up and hanging off the doors. That's sort of scary. They do have a lot of motorcycles there, and again, it's not the safest thing in the world. Sometimes you'll see 3, 4, 5 people on one motorcycle. It really depends on what city you go to. In Cairo, more people drive their own cars than they do in smaller cities like I was in. The city I was in was called Shabin al-Qom. What kind of transportation do they have in Egypt? I think we covered that. What do the police look like? The police drive around. They have their own cars. They don't look like really nice police cars like we have. They're just sort of older cars, and and motorcycles. And you knew them because it said police on it. They had their own style of dressing, and it would say police right here. But they were never. The only time you really saw them around was around banks. They would stand around the banks just to make sure everything was fine, and sometimes they would stand or sit by intersections and watch the traffic. I've never seen a single person pulled over. I've never seen them, there wasn't a lot of crime, and it's, the police stations, you really just didn't want to go in there. So if a crime happened, you just sort of kind of said, oh, well, hope it doesn't happen again, unless it was real bad. Then you went to the police station. What is the agriculture like? Everything is grown pretty fresh there in Egypt. You can go, like I remember I could walk around the corner from my flat, and there were women who sat there, early in the morning till about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they would set up their own little shop where they had, maybe some barrels or some crates, and they would set their fresh fruit out that they had gone into the gardens and picked, or to their farms, and people would just come in and buy them. Or you could go to bigger places where they had, more they had, you know, more produce. There was also in town, there was one really big sort of farmer's market. It was about a quarter of a mile long, and, you know, probably wasn't the safest place. You had to make sure that you really washed all your vegetables. It's not nice like it is here. You don't just go buy your vegetables, rinse them off, and then cut them up and eat them. There, you really had to scrub your vegetables or your fruits very well. You wanted to make sure they were very, very, very clean. America has a wide variety of religions. What religions are found in Egypt? Actually, Egypt, you can find just about any religion. You know, maybe the Jewish population is a lot smaller. The Christian population may be a little bit bigger. It's mainly a bunch of Muslims, which means that the religion is Islam. It's really pretty peaceful, and we have really beautiful churches there, especially in Cairo. There's like 2 really big, beautiful, old churches that they're currently redoing. It's very nice. What kind of bathrooms did you have in Egypt? You know, I really like this question. I thought it was pretty genius, actually. Our bathrooms are pretty much exactly the same as the bathrooms are here. However, we have what they call like a bidet, where it's you know, people don't use as much toilet paper as they do here. They actually wash up after they use the restroom with a sprayer, almost like a hose. And also on the ground, in every bathroom and in every kitchen, it's so easy to clean up. You really just spray it all down and then scrub it, and then you can squeegee all of the dirt, everything that's left, into these holes, almost like the bottom of your bathtub has, except just a little bit bigger with a grate on top. And you could just squeegee everything in it, and it made it very, very nice and easy. I guess that's really all the questions here. I hope that I helped you all a little bit, and if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask them. I will answer just about anything. I hope I did a good job. This is my first time ever answering this many questions. I guess that's it. Bye, guys.